Have you ever wondered how it feels to witness a legend unfold? It is happening right now. SB19 is creating a legend of themselves, influencing and changing the entire Philippine music industry for the better. 10, 30, 50 years from now, people will still be singing their songs and will still find it relevant. One of their newest songs is Ilaw. It highlights not just the elegance of their songwriting, but the finesse of their vocals and ownership of the stage. Here is a critical look at SB19's Ilaw, featuring top 10 things people might have missed about this instant classic. Hi, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I would really appreciate it. And of course, share the video if you can. It's really helping. Please continue doing it. And now let's go back to the video. Lyrics is poetry in motion. Pablo has always pushed his pen a different way. His words cut deeper, his pauses are maddening as hell, and the spaces between his lines are just as painful as his words. In Ilaw, however, he takes it to another level. While most songs swim in adjectives, Ilaw actually tells a story. He wasn't merely describing emotions, he was describing actions. In a narrative, there are 3 different ways you can tell a story: by saying it, by showing it, or by allowing the audience to experiencing it. Allowing the audience to experience the story is the hardest in a movie. It's almost impossible in a song. Not only is a song limited in time, you also don't have the assistance of a visual. To make this concept more concrete, we can take the movie Memento as an example. The main character, Leonard, suffers from short-term memory loss. What director Christopher Nolan did was start from the end of the story and work its way to the beginning. And then he starts the scene in the middle. For example, there was a scene where the main character was running, but since he suffers from short-term memory loss, he has forgotten why he was running. He saw someone running too and thought that he was running after the guy. Until the guy shoots him, he realizes it was the guy that was running after him. This forced the audience to suffer the condition with the character. Since the character doesn't know what's happening, neither is the audience. So you experience the story. In Ilaw, Pablo was able to do something similar. He describes a situation but doesn't give you the emotion behind it. He simply lets you follow the action. Here is one verse. Earlier, I caught myself smiling again and hiding the truth that I can never tell, again and again. You know what he's actually doing. He's smiling and hiding the truth, but you don't know what the truth he is hiding and why he was smiling. He didn't just communicate the emotions. He didn't just tell a story. He immersed the listeners to the situation, forcing you to figure out the emotion based on the events instead of figuring out the story based on the emotion. I heard the world in 5 men. Ilaw is about the pain of rejection, how people refuse to see who they really are. As they explained in their interview in Rappler, it was their story, an experience that they had to go through in their own country. They were constantly questioned for their authenticity, accused of copying another country's style. But it's also the experience of many Filipinos who work in other countries. And it so happens that while other countries export their products like cars and cell phones, the Philippines exports its people. Working in another country, the quest for authenticity isn't a phase. It's a constant companion. There are questions that will constantly nag you. There are questions that will never leave you. Is the economic benefit of leaving home worth leaving your family? Will you really have equal opportunities with others who were born, educated, and raised there? Are you compromising your own values? How much can you really stretch your own principles in the interest of keeping your job? You will get rejected more often than you deserve. Sometimes subtly, sometimes flatly, sometimes it masquerades as kindness. It's also an experience common to growing up, moving on, changing, evolving. It's a universal theme, rooted in a very unique experience. Breaking the articulation of thought. Pablo has mastered the art of breaking the articulation of thoughts. He would leave out the last words of a complete thought and carry it to the next line. By doing so, he also introduces another layer of meaning. One clear example is towards the end. Here is a verse. Anyone, please hear me. Why don't you open the door that's already open? But instead of completing one thought in one bar, he carries the last several words to the next line. It becomes, anyone, please hear me, why don't you? Open the door that's already opened. Instead of just begging to be heard in the first bar, he also asks why people aren't listening to him. And then also asks why people won't open the door that's already open for them in the second bar. Unique interpretation of the same melody. Pablo managed to allow each of them to interpret the song in their own unique ways, and still make the song sound whole and cohesive. Observe the difference on how Ken and Josh deliver the na naman or again lyrics. Even Pablo and Stel differ in how they deliver the sino bang may tenga sa mga bulong ko. Five singers, 5 different styles, one song, one emotion, 5 different expressions. Progress in storytelling. One of the most common weaknesses of pop songs is how repetitive the song is. They usually say one thing in the first part of the song and then just rephrase it in the second half. Ilaw progresses the narrative. The first part is about retreating to a home he can't even go to. The second part is about how they are in so deep that they are walking away from the only source of hope they have been holding on to. And the third part is about submitting to the demons of their pain. They didn't express an emotion 3 different ways or said one thing 3 different ways. They actually unfolded a story using a 3-part structure. You know how some people are masters of words, right? So they can use one word and put like 5,000 different meanings into it, or construct one sentence and actually have 5,000 different meanings. In here, they were able to communicate one emotion and express it 5 different ways. And all by using the uniqueness of their own voice. So each of the members of SB19 has a different resonance in their voice. So they were able to use that in order to express one emotion 5 different ways. Ken feels very dismissive. He's very rough in a quiet kind of way. He sounds very unforgiving. Like he will either shoot you dead or ignore you for eternity. And then Stel he sounds the most reasonable. It's because his voice is so refined. It's like if you compare it into a circle, there's no bump in his voice. It's so fine. So he sounds so whole as a person, and it feels like he's an angel that you offended and that you hurt. It feels like he is the kind of person that will be able to bear the pain the longest. And then Pablo just sounds like a serial killer. It feels like he's just going to kill you, torture you, and then mutilate you, and then sit on your body while he's drinking coffee. I'm not even kidding. He's so scary. So they communicate one they communicate one emotion, but they express it 5 different ways, and they use, as I've said, the resonance of the uniqueness and the resonance of their voice, which means they are mature enough in knowing how to harness the power of their voices and how to use it, how to manipulate their voice in order to communicate one emotion. And so in doing so, they were able to make the song thicker. It's deeper because you're able to, there's more for you to uncover, more for you to feel, more for you to hear as an audience. Their voices. Enough said. It was interesting how they actually maintained the same beat throughout the song. The beat didn't escalate. The tempo of emotions was actually carried by the sheer power of their voices. It was their voices and the lyrics that shifted the emotions in places they intended to. They plunge you to the deepest of their pain and slam you to the walls that bruise you through their melodies, shifting from chest voice to head voice to mixed voice, by whispering, by hitting those high notes, and by crawling through the lows. It was torturous, painful, dizzying, and cathartic in all the unexpected ways. Progress in melody. SB19 has never felt the need to do vocal acrobats, even though they have actually proven so many times that they can do it. The priority has always been to deliver the emotions, rather than to display how much they can stretch their vocal cords. So when they took the notes higher and the melody faster, they did so for a good reason. The urgency in their melody when they entered the second third of the song was to clearly communicate the escalating frustration and pain, and it worked gloriously. Now that's how you do high notes. You do it to deliver the right emotion, not to impress the audience. Vocal display. How many singers are there that can do a baritone as swiftly as they can do a tenor? How many singers can truly hit those high notes without shouting? How many singers can insert a rock-like screech in the middle of a pop ballad? How many supposed main vocalists are there that can't even sing half as good as a guy who admitted to not even being a vocalist in the first place? How many singers have the vocal agility SB19 has? This song didn't just play on the strength of each member as a vocalist. It highlighted the uniqueness of their vocal texture. And it's about damn time that the whole world acknowledges it. The song hit me hard. It's a very emotional song, but once I have gotten over the overwhelming emotion, I was able to just focus on the technical side of the song, actually listen to the intonations and resonance and stuff like that. This part, this is how you sing. So even Josh, who himself admitted that he wasn't really a singer, he's first and foremost a dancer and then a rapper, he actually sang better than 90% of those who claim to be vocalists. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, they're just setting the bar high. These are, how people, there are some singers out there who would hit the high notes, but they're actually just screaming. These 5 people were actually singing, even when they were hitting the high notes. They're setting the bar really high, and they really deserve to go bigger. So I hope that happens for them. And really, the world needs this kind of a quality performer. So I hope they go global. I will be watching them when they get here in LA. So July 29, I think. So when you see me there, if you're going there, please say hi to me. Looking forward to watching them and hearing them perform live. And you can get in touch with me in any of the social media links that you see on your screen right now. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And of course, share the video, please. It's really helping. So please continue doing it. Thank you. I appreciate you. See you next time.